Welcome to the Mazda postgame show.
40-0 in Baltimore, the biggest shutout since 2014. 2 defensive touchdowns. This one coming from C.J. Mosley on an interception return. It was all Ravens in Baltimore tonight, and our set is getting ready as we speak. A special guest will be coming to set momentarily. Perhaps it will be C.J. Mosley. We're going to be checking in with those guys in just a couple of minutes. For now, it's Steve Mariucci, Dan Hellie, our Hall of Fame wide receiver, Michael Irvin. Irv, something you want to get off your chest after this one?
Well, first of all, I do owe everybody an apology after watching that game, and we talk so much about Matt Moore. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that you got it. I did pick the Dolphins because I believe Matt Moore would give them more, but that was not the case. That was a hard watch right there.
Yeah, well, you know what? If you're a Baltimore fan, you're thinking that defense is back. They were the last-ranked rush defense in the National Football League, and they showed up tonight, held the Dolphins, Jay Ajayi and Drake, for 45 yards rushing. You mentioned earlier the defense scored a couple of touchdowns and held them to 196 total yards. I don't care what quarterback was playing. This was a pretty darn good defensive show. It was the old Ravens formula, Coach. Great defense and a great run game by Alex Collins, my homeboy over there in Fort Lauderdale. 113 yards. He ran well.
He was great, and this is the second time that the Dolphins have been shut out this year. For now, let's send it back up to the booth. Tony Romo and Jim Nantz. Guys?
Dan, thank you. Yeah, this is the second shutout pitched, if you will, by the Ravens this year. And, yes, the Dolphins have been shut out twice as well. 20 points in the first half, 20 points in the second half. We came in all week preparing for this game, and we were saying, hey, this Miami team's 4-2. How have they done it? Because their offense was posting such anemic numbers. And you said it from the start today. You got to give Adam Gase some credit, but this started to get away from him. I mean, early they could not stop the run, and that never really ended.
This game was going to come down to it. Like we talked about, some big plays, and obviously got away from him. Once it's, Miami doesn't have the offense to just come back when it gets too far down. And, the big early play down the field was a big one. When Flacco hit down the sideline, it just opened the floodgates a little bit. And then from there, it was just chip away. A field goal here. And then before you know it, you get pick sixes at the end and fumbles that are touchdowns. And Baltimore, let's give them credit. They controlled the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, and that's hard to do against the Miami defensive front. They beat them with scheme up front right now in that run game, and that, for a whole half, allowed Baltimore to control the game.
Once again, we're reminded, how do you figure this National Football League? You got a Dolphins team that had these incredible comebacks the last 2 weeks, including winning at Atlanta, a team that was a quarter and a half away from winning the Super Bowl earlier in the year. And then you got a Baltimore team, as Adam Gase said, everybody's talking about Baltimore like the sky is falling, and here they are, they're 40-0 tonight.
And like you just said, Miami, though, when you're always having to come from behind, they have 2 games where they scored 6 points total in 2 games this year so far. That was their 2 losses. And a couple other wins, they had to come back from like 14 down. So 4-2, but not the kind of like other teams. So I think you saw tonight that if they don't really play the right way and have big plays happen, they're not going to be able to consistently win these football games.
All right, Tony, coming up tonight on CBS, don't miss the Late Show with Stephen Colbert as he welcomes Julianne Moore and Superior Donut star Jermaine Fowler, followed by the Late Late Show with James Corden, tonight only, CBS. And for more football, the Mazda post-game show continues on NFL Network. There's Flacco and Macklin celebrating the first touchdown of the night. There were more to come, including 2 pick sixes, 40-0 the final for Tony Tracy and Jay. Jim Nantz saying so long from Baltimore, and thank you for watching the Mazda post-game show.
So it was a shutout in Baltimore. C.J. Mosley will be coming to join Amber Theo-Harris and friends in Baltimore in just a matter of moments. Part of this defense that shuts out the Dolphins 40-0. A very impressive performance by a team that was not very good against the run coming into the game. They ranked dead last, but they held the Dolphins to just 24 yards.
One of the reasons they were last, okay, they were missing Brandon Williams, all right, the big guy inside, the defensive tackle. He showed up tonight, and he is a force to be reckoned with. C.J. Mosley, who will be joining on the set now, he's a tough guy. He put some hits on Matt Moore, and, you know, after Jay Ajayi's 21-yard run early in the game, man, they just shut him down. He was getting negative yardage, and so this defense was swarming, making, you know, negative plays. And Terrell Suggs is a great player. We know about him. And they've added over the last couple of years Weddle and Brandon Carr in the secondary. But when they're healthy, this team flies around. And, of course, being at home, it's always loud over there, rough on signals and rough on quarterbacks. 2 pick sixes, C.J. Mosley with one of them. And look at the hustle here by Matt Moore. He's going to say, I'm going to tackle that guy. Keep him out of the end zone. No, he gets in. Man, what a defensive effort, though.
They looked like the old Ravens defense. I mean, they dominated on every level. They looked like they knew every play that Miami was calling, and they were there before the ball got to the player and making tackles. They did a great job. And it looked like the old Baltimore Ravens run game. You know what I mean? When Jamal Lewis was back there running the ball. But this dude right here, he did a great Jamal Lewis. Looked like, I don't know how many kids out there that want to play running back. But if I am you, I'm learning this Irish gig jump. I don't know what it is, what kind of dance it is, but I'm learning it if it's going to have you dancing like this on the football field. Alex Collins, running, man. He looked like one of the best running backs in the NFL against this Miami Dolphins defense. And I thought Miami Dolphins had a pretty good defense, especially a pretty good defensive front. But they chopped them up pretty good with that run game above Baltimore right there.
Irish jig.
Irish jig.
You know how to do that, don't you?
Coach, I was trying it while he was trying it. I was like, man, I need to learn how to do this Irish jig stuff, man, because he was, he's incredible, man.
And Miami was good on defense. Run defense was 5th best
in the
league.
That's what I'm saying.
Irish jigged all the way up and down the field.
They
had 174 yards of rushing. That's just like the old recipe for Baltimore. Play defense, run the football, don't turn it over, and away you go.
This Irish jig segment with Irv, could be a standalone
he was on
segment
Dancing
on
with the
show.
Stars. I bet he can do it.
Oh, no,
don't bet that bet. Don't make that bet. You'll lose, Coach.
We're pulling it up on YouTube
You'll
here.
lose. That's so great. It was funny.
Matter of minutes.
Oh, my God.
He's ready.
And
we're ready for a lot of football coming up on Sunday. You can kick things off here on NFL Network. It's the Vikings and the Browns, 9 a.m. from over in London. Twickenham Stadium, the largest rugby stadium in the world, is where this one will be played. And there's a look at the Irish jig.
There it is, right there,
okay.
man.
All right, that's not Alex. Where's Alex?
There he is. There he is, right there. That Florida boy.
Footwork.
He's from Fort Lauderdale. You know, it's my homeboy right there, man.
The Thursday Night Football postgame show is presented by the Mazda CX-5. Driving matters. And brought to you by Verizon, the best network and the best unlimited.
Every stitch is a part of me. All these shapes and designs express our devotion to craftsmanship. I want people to feel our passion when they touch it and when they drive it.
Test drive the CX-5 and experience the details for yourself.
Kick off your football Sunday here on NFL Network. Vikings and Browns from London. Our coverage starts at 9 a.m. on Sunday. Meanwhile, Thursday Night Football in Baltimore was all Ravens. It was a brutal night for Matt Moore. 2 pick sixes. This one returned by Jimmy Smith. 50 yards for the touchdown. That was the capper. As you can see, 40-0 was the final there. I was at the game last week when Matt Moore came in for Jay Cutler. He saved the day, threw a couple of touchdown passes, both of them to Kenny Stills, and it was a guy who looked like he should be an NFL starter. Matt Moore did not look like an NFL starter today. What's the biggest difference from last week to this week for Matt Moore, Irv?
Boy, let's see. Well, first of all, he ran into a tough Baltimore Ravens defense that showed up tonight and was ready to play. But I thought I didn't think he was comfortable at any point in this game. From the start of this game, it looked like, I don't know, the pressure or the thought of, man, if I play well, maybe it's my job. The pressure or something got to him. He just looked bad, Coach. I got to apologize to everybody because I was calling for him to be a starter. Now I'm begging, get Jay Cutler back.
It was night and day last week. The game that you called, you said, he was came from behind 2 touchdowns down and really did a good job. But tonight, too much pressure on him all night. Every throw was contested. He was hit in the pocket several times. Tough night at the office.
You can see all smiles from C.J. Mosley. He is walking to our set right now. We're going to have that interview coming up in just a matter of minutes from Baltimore. And this is coming up on Sunday. Vikings and Browns from London. Kickoff set for shortly after 9 a.m. We're back after this.
The Dolphins select Dan Marino of Pittsburgh.
His career began in doubt.
There were rumors that he was a party guy.
He became one of the most prolific passers in NFL history.
He made passing the ball look easy, and it's not.
Never seen anything like it.
He'll go down as one of the greatest of all time.
He's got a touchdown! But football's holy grail escaped his grasp.
I don't know what that feeling's like to walk off the field Sunday and be a Super Bowl champion.
Dan Marino, A Football Life, tomorrow at 9, only on NFL Network.
Look at what is coming up on Sunday. It's the Vikings and the Browns live from London at 9 a.m. Game day kickoff, 7 a.m. Eastern. Don't want to miss that. C.J. Mosley didn't miss this interception. Rough night for Matt Moore. C.J. on the receiving end of this one returns it for the touchdown. Had 4 tackles, a half sack, and a pick in the 40-0 win. C.J. right now is with Amber Theo Harris and friends. Amber.
Dan, the fans are staying around late here in Baltimore to enjoy the largest shutout in Ravens history. What a performance by this defense. Welcome in, everybody. Amber Theo Harris, along with Deion Sanders, Steve Smith Sr., Marshall Faulk, and the star of the game, C.J. Mosley. I heard that the reason it took you so long to get out here, C.J., was because they were giving game balls to everybody. Who didn't get one?
Yeah, game balls, and, we have to honor Conrad Rulin's family. His parents came in, we gave them a game ball, so that was a big win that we had to give for him and his parents.
Where did this come from, man, tonight? We didn't see this coming, some of us. We didn't see this coming. This was a dominant performance tonight.
That was Raven football. That's what we should have been doing all season long. The last few weeks, the run game's been bad for our defense. We was ranked 31st in the league, and that's definitely not what the Ravens defense is about. We came out and tried to make a statement. It was a quick turnaround, so we had to be physical and just play Raven football.
Speaking of physical, I'm gonna put you on the spot. Kiko Alonso hit clean or not clean?
Hey, well, you talk when the quarterback slides, you're supposed to aim for the head so you can jump over him. Whether it's clean or not, he hit our quarterback, and we took it personal. And we all went out on the field to, make sure everything was straight. And, that kind of set.
We want you to check it out.
Take a look.
From a different angle. But what you said, say that again. When a quarterback slides, you're supposed to do what?
You're supposed to aim for the head so you can jump over him, so you'll miss him. But he hit him. We took it personal. That's our quarterback. And that kind of set the tone for us in our defense. We want to protect all our players, all our brothers, and that's kind of how we took it personal, and it led to that win.
What has it been like around here? We understand the culture, and actually we were up in Mr. Bisciotti's box, and Ray was there. You guys just pitched the biggest shutout. There's been some great defenses here. Yeah. The biggest shutout in Ravens history. What has it been like around here? Up and down, things not going your way.
Right. We can't control, some of the stuff that happened. We started off on fire, 4 or 5 turnovers on defense. We go to London, get blown out, win a game in Oakland, come back, lose 2. So, the whole NFL has been up and down. Only select few teams that's been dominating this whole first half of the season. So there was a big win for us, for a team, and to set the tone for our defense. So, we got a game next week, then a bye. Now we just got to, keep that momentum going.
So you telling us tonight was the real Ravens?
Yeah, that was the real Ravens.
Okay.
So
I'm going to get your number now. When I pick y'all in a couple of weeks.
Against the Titans next week, that's who you're picking.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, if you stop the run first, you know, you can let everything else fly. So, I mean, that's always our MO on defense, stop the run, you know, get them in bad field position, and, you know, let's work. Let's make some plays.
So, you know, you talk about Ray Lewis, you know, being in the suite up there. 52 is a staple here, whether it's 10 years from now or 30 years from now. What does C.J. Mosley, number 57, want to leave? What legacy does he want to leave on the field when you have to, unfortunately, compare it to number 52?
Yeah, well, one thing that I won't be able to compare with him is his motivational speaking. He just got that, and that's not what I do. You know, off the field, on the field, you know, I'm gonna talk to the guys. I'm gonna make sure that everybody's in the right mindset. If things not going the right way, I'm gonna yell at you, I'm gonna scream at you. But you know, at the end of the day, I want to be one of the players that, you know, he came to work every day. You know, he had to do all the talking. He had to be, you know, on social media doing this and doing that. Just make plays on the field.
But you do wear number 57. A courageous man wore that number. Right. O.J. Brganson representing him and his legacy here in Baltimore as he fights ALS. But I want to get back to stopping the run. We go back a couple of weeks ago. You guys give up 231 yards to the Bears on the ground, 169 yards to the Vikings. And then after that Jay Ajayi run early in the game, after that you give up only 22, 23 yards on the ground. Was Brandon Williams having him back? Is that a big part of stopping this run? What was the difference?
Yeah, well, when you got a 300-plus defensive line, you got to double team him. So at the end, you're gonna have that kind of effect on the offensive line. And you know, we're just playing uncharacteristic football as far as the run game. You know, guys getting out of the gap, or we getting upfield and leaving creases. So I mean, if you play technique and stay square in the front seven, it's gonna be hard for them to find a place to run the ball, and that's what you saw tonight.
CJ, when you go in the locker room, man, tell the guys, stop playing with my emotions, man. Y'all playing with my emotions. I wasn't ready for this tonight.
I wasn't ready for it.
I was not ready for it.
But we're happy. We're happy for you, and we're excited.
Yes.
Congratulations for you and for the Ravens fans.
We're praying for
Yes.
I picked you.
He didn't have a choice.
He
didn't have a choice. He would have heard it from everybody in Baltimore. But now the Ravens are 4-4. You go to head on the road to Nashville to face the Titans. Best of luck as we look to see the season maybe turn around for the Ravens in this game.
Sure. Yeah, you got dreads on Ray, too. Ray ain't going to be able to grow them
Never.
dreads.
Stop. He couldn't do that.
Stop. You are wrong.
It always comes back to the hair. All right, Dan, let's go back to you in the studio. I think these Ravens fans are going to hang out with us for just a little bit longer. Enjoy this.
I love you, Sugar.
He shot at the man in his house.
I love Sugar, though.
As they shared the party going on in Baltimore. I mean, Deion can't stop talking about his new hair. I can't say that I blame him much either. Back with Michael Irvin and Steve Mariucci. The game may have turned in the second quarter. The Kiko Alonso hit on Joe Flacco was no joke here. Flacco sliding, Alonso coming in, making contact with his head. Ryan Jensen, the center, comes over. He's upset about it. You can see Kiko yelling at John Harbaugh there, probably saying, listen, I thought I was just doing my job. Flacco taken into the locker room. He is now officially in concussion protocol. Now, our own Kurt Warner tweeted this out shortly after the hit. I'm all about protecting quarterbacks, but I see it as being unfair to the D if the quarterback doesn't give self up until the last second. QB is getting extra yards due to D giving up. So he's talking about the late slide there. We're all watching this together, and we're discussing this. And there was the first down marker right there, and I think he was going to try and get the first down. Then he saw Alonso coming in. He goes down. Alonso had already basically launched himself. How did you see this one, Mooch?
So this was a tough call to make. There was other things.
The coach is on the committee.
If I'm on the player safety advisory panel, okay, and we talk about concussions and all kinds of injuries all the time. That's what we do. All right, we're trying to make the game safer, all right? Part of doing that is staying away from people's heads, keeping the head out of the game, okay? But I would say this. If I'm coaching quarterbacks, and I did all my life, okay, or as a head coach, if I'm talking to a quarterback, I'm saying the rules that we have in place right now will protect you if you do the right thing. You can leave the pocket, throw the ball out of bounds. Protect yourself. If you're going to slide early enough where there's no indecision by a defender, okay? If you're going to give it up, give it up. The gray area is if there's a goal line or a first down marker to gain. Then these guys get tempted to go for it and take a hit, all right? So Joe decided late. He did. He's a tough guy. The line was another yard or two, and he decided to slide late. If I'm talking to my defensive players, you try to say, stay off the quarterback's head, whether it's in the pocket or whether it's on a slide or a tackle or whatever that is, stay off the head. And Kiko kind of was close, and he launched, and he was airborne. And Joe started going down, and his shoulder pad hit Joe's head, ripped his helmet off, drew blood on the ear, so it made it look ugly. That was very, very unfortunate. I hate to see that. But then you got Jensen, who comes over there, and he should have been penalized, in my opinion. And then you got Sue coming over there, and he should have been penalized. I thought the referees gave it up after they made the call on roughing the quarterback right there on the slide. Very unfortunate.
It was hard to watch. It really was. It was hard to watch. And I did think that Kiko, I thought he could pull up a little. I thought he could pull up. But I understand he's trying to protect that goal line, that first down marker. He was trying to protect it. But it was just hard to watch, man. And then, well, all that other stuff that ensued, you hate to see that. But out of all of it, one thing you heard C.J. Mosley just talk about is that lit fire up under their defense. To see somebody hit their quarterback like that, it's what lit the fire up under them to play even harder than they were playing. So that was just a tough situation all around. Let's hope that Joe Flacco's okay and he'll be back soon. You don't want to see that kind of stuff happen.
Yeah, he's got 10 days now to go through this concussion protocol, and it's very difficult for guys like Mike Wallace, who was concussed last Sunday, to get Thursday night game. He was out. But now Joe's got 10 days, and we'll see if he's able to pass the protocol and get back healthy. Let's hope he does.
The Ravens now 4-4 after a huge win. The Dolphins suffering their worst shutout loss since 1997. They lost 41-0 to another Harbaugh. That was Jim Harbaugh when he was with the Colts. These guys studying and getting ready. Our endgame crew, DeMarcus Ware, Cole Wright, David Carr, Willie McGinnis coming up in just a few minutes. We're going to hear from John Harbaugh and Kiko Alonso coming up on Endgame. The cat that made an appearance in the 40-0 shutout, perhaps he'll make an appearance on Endgame as well. From Michael Irvin and Steve Mariucci, I am Dan Hellie. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Get off the field, little guy.
Cat like quick.
Who brings a cat to a football game?
I'll tell you, he gained more yards than the Dolphins did tonight.
He did gain more yards than the Dolphins. You're right about that.
Thank you for watching the Mazda postgame show.
The Thursday Night Football postgame show is presented by the Mazda CX-5. Driving matters. And brought to you by McDonald's $2 small McCafe drinks.
Every stitch is a part of me. All these shapes and designs express our devotion to craftsmanship. I want people to feel our passion when they touch it and when they drive it.
Test drive the CX-5 and experience the details for yourself.